Alright, so in the last episode, I talked about how to use variables. Uh, if you didn't watch that video, I highly recommend going back and watching how to use variables, because in this episode, I will be reinforcing that with a function called Instance.new. Now, Instance.new is instance is a part or a GUI or anything in Roblox. For instance, this baseplate is an instance. This terrain is an instance. This camera is an instance. An instance.new creates a new object based off of what you tell it in a string. So if I wanted to create an instance a new part, I would go part. Or if I wanted to create a new player, I would go player. Or if I wanted to create a new script, I could do instance a new script. Anything in the game, I could do instance a new, and that would create the object. Now the second thing here, as you can see, it's instance.parent right here. That will set the parent of the new thing you created. So if I wanted to create a new part, I would want to set it to workspace. And that would create a new part in the workspace. If I run the script, it will create a new part in workspace. Right here. As you can see, the part was created in workspace. And if we look at the base plate, there's nothing there until the script ran. And that's essentially how Instance.new works. Now I'm going to tell you how to use it with variables. So let's say you wanted to change the color of that part. So I'll do part.color equals brick color dot new black. So this should work, right? Because part. Well, let's find out. It didn't change. The reason it didn't change was because I didn't assign this a variable, and it doesn't know what it is. So basically, I need to put a variable and tell it what it is. So I'm going to go local part equals this. So part will be assigned to the new instance.new, and it will create a new part, and that part's variable will be set to part. Now if we run it, it'll change. It didn't change. Oh, yeah, because part has a brick color. Sorry. Oof. Now it'll change. As you can see, it's black. Now you can do anything with this, really. You could set the position. Now to set a position, you use position equals vector 3 or vector 2. The difference between vector 3 is vector 3 uses x, y, and z coordinates, and vector 2 uses x and y coordinates. So if I wanted to use vector 2, see, x and y. If I want to do 10, 5, actually I have an experiment with that, let's see if it works. Yeah, it will error because it expected a vector 3 because this part, as you can see, let me go to properties like I showed you in that properties video. If you don't know what I'm doing, watch the Studio Basics series. As you can see, there's an X, there's a Y, and there's a Z position. I only gave it an X and a Y position, so it does not know what that is. So you have to do vector 3.new, which is basically a 3D coordinate on the vector, meaning the position, and the 3 and the 3D coordinate, x, y, and z. So I'm going to do 1, 5, 2. This will set the positions, the parse position to 1, 5, 3. It moved, if you noticed. It moved to 1, 5, 3. Now we could change it to 140 for 2 as well. And it changed to 140, well, 100, 0, 2. And the reason why it dropped down was because we didn't tell the part to be anchored. And to anchor a part, you go part, the variable you assigned, right here, part dot anchored is equals true. Now true basically means it'll set that value to true, and it'll make it anchored. Now if we run it, I'm going to use run because I don't need my character. If we run it, we notice the part is up here now at the position we gave it, 142. If you can see, it matches up from here. It's the same as that. Now the other thing you can do is yeah. Wow, that was an awkward silence. Okay. The other thing you can do is part dot can collide. This will make the part collide with you. Can collide essentially means if it can collide, and if you click on the base plate, you'll see anchored has the proper under behavior. You can see anchored and can collide. If we turn this off, you will be able to go through the part, and I'll show you that in a second by setting this to false. When it's false, it means you can collide with it, and you can walk through. Let me get the part. And if you watch, let's walk there. Oh wow, okay. If you watch, I can now go through the part. Now, if I want to make it that I can't go through the part, I do can collide as false. They're true. And now I can't go through the part. Now let's say I didn't want to create a part. I could create a model. Set the model.parent equals workspace. Or I could put it, oh, it's already set, sorry. And if I run the game, it'll create a new model. And workspace, if you can see right here. An Explorer tab. Now, if I wanted to create a new accessory, or angular velocity, it'll create a new angular velocity. If I wanted to create a new object value, it will do this, the object value. It'll create an object value without a value. Now, if we wanted to set that object value, we could go part dot value. This only works with object values, integer values, boolean values, and string values because they all have values that you can assign them to. So I'm going to do part.value equals game.workspace.baseplate. That will assign the value to baseplate. See, now the value is baseplate. And that's pretty much how you use Instance.new. You can set the properties using the variable part or dog or cat or whatever you want to do. It'll work no matter what. This name doesn't matter. It could be A, B, C, and if I run it, it'll still do the same thing. If I do this, it'll still do the same thing. It'll no matter what you do, as long as this variable is the same as the variable that you're trying to mess with, it'll still do the same thing. And that is essentially how Instance.new works. If you have any questions, message me on Discord, or message me on Roblox, as my DMs are open. Also, I have a Roblox scripting help Discord server that if you need help, extra help, you can join that server. I will also be linking the docs page about Instance.new in the description if you need more help with it. Um, so, yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.